Yep.
And as a result of that, this person now sits with arguably a mid couple $100,000 a month in revenue that I don't see a dollar from. And he said, literally with 100%, he said, anybody who answers that question wrong never buys.
We screwed up about 2 months ago in our busy season, as in we didn't have enough people on our back end to fulfill our front end because sales were going fucking nuts.
What do you think they do with you once they buy you out? Why do you think they buy you out in the first place? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the channel. Today, I've got a special one for you. This is actually one of our $1 million a month earners that we've given a trophy to here in Jeremy's Inner Circle group. Per usual, in this specific video type, we are sitting down and emulating what a one-on-one call would be like in the Jeremy's Inner Circle group. So I'm really excited for this one personally because I haven't gotten to talk to Bodie here since he's gotten above the $1 million a month threshold. So we'll get an update on where his current revenue numbers are at, what the next revenue target is, what specifically can be done to help grease the wheels to get there sooner than later, and what potentially is holding him back along the way as he goes. So without further ado, let's get started. Bodie, first of all, welcome onto the channel, brother.
Thank you
Do
for
you want
having
to
me.
do a quick intro of yourself?
Yep.
Just give the people an idea who you are, what you got going on.
Yep, so my name is Bodie Gallo. I'm 27 years old. I run a marketing agency for home service businesses, plumbers, bathroom remodelers, HVAC companies, etc. We do about $1.3 million a month. And I'm a co-founder of the company, more of like the CRO. I do a lot of the organic marketing, sales, and all that fun stuff.
We got net per month, Bodie.
Net profit?
Yes.
Probably like 600K.
Okay, got it. So a little less than half, like in the 40s?
Little less than half,
Okay.
40s, 50s, depending on the month.
Like about 45% net. Okay, and how long you guys been at this?
Been at this for about 3 years now. I actually used to own a dumpster rental company, so I have a home service background.
Nice.
Realized there was a separation in the market and I could just start selling this to other home service companies.
And would you articulate yourself as a marketing agency for home service businesses,
Yes.
or would you niche it down further than that?
Home service businesses.
Okay, got it.
Anything with a Google business profile.
Got it. And then what specific services are you selling these people?
Local SEO, so being #1 on the Google Map Pack if you look up something like roofer near me. Google Ads and website design.
Okay, so #1 on Google Maps, website design?
Yes, sir.
And what was the other one you slipped in there? Google Ads?
Google Ads, yeah.
Okay, got it. And is this like a package deal that people get, or are you selling these individually?
So on the front end, we sell local SEO, and on the back end, we sell websites and Google Ads. Sometimes we package it all at once, but it depends who the prospect is coming through the funnel.
So your front end offers the Google Maps offer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, got it. And then does that mean you're upselling the website design and the Google Ads to people? Understood. What's the front end cost to the Google Maps offer specifically?
First month is $3,200 and it's $2,000 a month from there on out, depending on how
Why does it drop?
We just do an onboarding fee of $1,200.
Interesting. Okay.
That onboarding fee has helped our Facebook ads a ton being profitable.
Wow, that's super interesting. So $3,200 up front, you drop it down to $2K a month thereafter.
Yep. And
then what's the website design cost and what's the Google Ads cost?
Depends the size. Websites usually about $2,000 to $4,000, depending on how big the website we need to build. Google Ads costs about $2,000 a month.
Okay, got it. And then what's the AOV right now? Like, what's the average person spending with you guys?
3.2.
Okay. How does that play out mathematically and be perfectly at what you charge up front? Does it actually net out to that?
So it depends. It honestly depends the client, the prospect. Right now on the front end, our AOV is $3,200. Back end's probably about $2,600.
Okay, understood. Interesting. Now, getting to $1 million a month with such a low recurring amount, you know me, I mean, I call this poverty price. But I mean, at the end of the day, like you guys have chosen to scale your business this way. I assume because you're fully committed to the path of trying to exit and trying to keep your annual churn as low as possible. And those blue collar boys, I mean, this pricing is right up their alley for what it sounds like they'd be willing to tolerate.
Cowboys too.
Yeah, they fucking hate anything. They generally hate marketing agencies, period. So, I mean, good for you to even reach this level. You must be in well regards in their eyes, huh?
Yeah. I built a good personal brand to the blue collar guys. Coming from a blue collar background, it makes it much easier because they hate the guys that are just marketers. I actually understand what my clients are going through, so it's easy for me to have messaging towards them.
Okay. So back in, you said it was 2K a month, or was it 2.6K, I think you said?
2.6K AOV, yes sir.
Got it, okay. So at the end of the day, the way that everything's currently structured, the current revenue target, what are you guys striving for?
Looking to get to 3 million, that's my next revenue goal. Right now we're about at 1.3, next is about 3 million, give or take.
Got it, and to be clear, is there a certain revenue milestone you guys are trying to get to with a certain profit in order to exit? Or is it more of you have a larger financial target than that?
It's more of a larger financial target. Like the cash flow in this business, it spits out a ton of cash flow. If we could get the $10 million in EBITDA, we are a very, very valuable business to private equity's eyes. But we're not even worried about that yet. We're not even thinking about selling. We're more of just trying to hit this revenue number and make as much cash flow as possible.
Okay, and building the business for $3 million a month versus building the business beyond that, have you assessed what it's going to be?
Sales.
Understood. And when I say building the business for $3 million a month versus building the business for whatever comes beyond that, you're hyper focused on the $3 million a month. It sounds like, is there a different business simply put on the other side of that you're then going to have to build to get to the next level? And does it make more sense to build that business now in comparison to then?
So we're looking to build that business now. All we're thinking about right now is like a marketing agency at $3 million a month versus $5 million a month. The back end systems aren't much different. It's more about people. Like getting the right people in place is the most important part for where we're at right now. And every decision we make that we're doing right now is for that $3 to $5 million a month mark. And that's just hiring the right people, because we just got our first sales stallion like a month and a half ago. And we never really had a sales stallion in our life, and it's just been life-changing to us. So we need as many of those dudes as possible.
Buddy, do me a favor. I talk about on this channel very frequently when it comes to cracking $1 million months or adding the next couple $1,000,000 a month, how truly important sales is. I think that everybody generally understands it, but they probably don't actually understand in practice what, not everybody to be fair. Some of you sitting here, you guys have sales stallions too, but there's a few of them sitting here watching that have no idea what the fuck a sales stallion means. Can you break it down for them and help them understand it?
Someone who you can give a script to, and 2 days into onboarding to your business, they have that script memorized and they're closing deals the day of.
And so they come in and they just hit the ground running and they're just immediately impressed.
Like this guy started, and the first day he started, he got like a 4K deal right away. And we were like, holy shit, like his first day taking calls. And in the past, we were training guys from 0 to 1, and we were like, now we can never do that again. If we're going to build a sales team, we need to poach from other organizations that are selling the same shit as us, and we're going to go way further.
You get a salesperson that comes on your team and doesn't immediately come off impressive. What do you do?
Get rid of them. We just went through that 2 weeks.
Good.
So I had 5 sales guys a month ago. Now I have 3 sales guys. One we had to get rid of, who was with us for 6 months. One guy we hired a month ago, got rid of him in 2 weeks, and we're just rebuilding from there out.
Okay. Now with only 3 sales guys, are they currently maxed out?
Yeah, we are currently maxed out, looking for another sales rep.
If I'm not mistaken, but do you specifically do things in sales yourself too? Or is it everything at this point on them?
Everything's on them now for the first time in like a month. I was doing a lot of sales up to like $1 million a month. I did every sale to about 500K a month, give or take. Every single sale in the company. Just grinding it out, which like honestly stunted our growth. We probably would be at $2 million a month right now if we didn't do that. But we just didn't take aggressive action.
You look back with regret on that?
Not regret, because I cut my teeth in that. Like I know every single way to sell someone. And like I can listen to a sales call and be like, this sucks right away. I know what needs to be changed.
Exactly.
But like if we didn't do that and we hired another sales rep at let's say 300K a month that was selling with me, we'd be bigger now.
Did you ever get to meet Brandon? Brandon, he's from Australia. I think it's like Wilmington or something like that.
Yes.
You got to meet him?
He does the Facebook ads offer. Teaches you how to do Facebook ads offer. Yeah. I love that offer. I got to meet him. I love that guy.
He specifically found that his best salespeople come from an MMA background.
Interesting.
And I always ask this question when I get somebody who's very dialed in. Do you have a specific type of salesperson you like to hire? Like as an example, do you specifically pull from the blue collar background, since you mentioned that?
So
that seems very important.
My 2 best sales guys right now, one's a teacher. He was an ex-teacher. He left teaching, so like he can learn stuff quickly. He knows how to teach stuff. The other one came from pressure washing. He sold his pressure washing company, got right into high ticket sales, went into like a bunch of bullshit real estate offers. And then he's a killer for us, like one of our best guys.
Nice, makes sense. And what about the third?
Third guy is a 52-year-old. He's been in sales for 30 years. He actually started selling for Jordan Belfort like 30 years ago up in Boca. And he's just been selling all his life.
That's the old Jordan Belfort too.
Old Jordan Belfort. Yeah, that's what he tells us. He also came from an HVAC sales background and was tired of like going door to door, not door to door, but like giving estimates on HVAC systems. Got into high ticket sales for marketing agencies. We picked him up from someone in the inner circle. And he's been a killer for us.
Nice, congrats, good referral. Okay, sounds good. And by the way, I stress all this just because there's so many people really overcomplicate what it even takes mathematically to get to $1 million plus a month. You got there, it sounds like with 5 salespeople at one point, but
we got there with
halfway there.
2.5 to 3 salespeople. Yeah, halfway there to 1 million.
They cut the losers fast. Do you feel like you have a good recruitment pipeline for your sales team, or do you feel like it's challenging?
Because of my Twitter personal brand. Like Twitter's a lot of high level people on there, and I can get good sales guys pretty quickly. Starting to tap into LinkedIn now, which sucks. I hate LinkedIn. I know you hate LinkedIn too.
Worst, dude.
But
it's a spam hellhole.
Yeah, like I own a corporate marketing agency at this point, like we're like going corporate, I guess you could say. Hate to say it, but I gotta say it. And we are starting to poach from other bigger organizations because that's where we're going to find our best talent.
Yeah, makes sense. Headhunting at your level
Yeah.
makes the most sense. Okay, so marketing agency for home service businesses. When you got up here and you did your $1 million a month talk for us, you had broke down that Twitter specifically was like 700,000 something dollars of the $1 million a month. Is that still your dominant traffic source, or have you since diversified?
This is the first month we're diversified. It's our first month where we're 50-50 between organic and paid, which we've never had before. When we started,
what paid traffic source is working for you?
Facebook ads.
Understood. Makes sense. Okay, so Twitter is a traffic source. Keep going with what you're saying.
And between Twitter, it's our first month we're doing that. And it's just by spending more on paid, pretty much.
What's your paid ad spend up to now?
Paid ad spend, $50,000 a month.
Okay, got it. You know the return on that offhand?
Front end, usually 50 to 70,000, give or take. So 1 to 1.2 ROAS.
Nice. Okay. And you're okay with that? I mean, obviously,
I'm great with that.
At your level, by the way, super, super important thing to consider when you're talking about acquisition and your ROAS right now.
Yep.
The 3.2K will be the limiting variable there because I'm sure everything else is very dialed in. We can look at that and break down like the specific steps of the bottleneck analysis to determine that with certainty. But at the end of the day, we get some people that occasionally come through and all we tell them is like you're doing now, you have a higher upfront cost and you have a lower monthly billing rate after.
Yeah.
If you slightly bump, as an example, if you sign up for anything through your Apple device, there's typically a 30% plus surcharge on top of what you could otherwise get it for if you just bought from that provider directly.
Yep.
And most people just simply put, they aren't aware of this, that every single transaction is a 30% Apple tax. And when you look at Facebook ads as an example, it's like the tax in this example is just Facebook ads, period, and the cost to acquire the customer.
Yeah.
You sound fully comfortable with the fact that you're essentially break even in the upfront 30 days.
Yep.
However, on the Twitter side with the organic half of your business, you're essentially damn near all profit when you acquire somebody at 3.2. And that's likely what historically drove the 3.2K upfront decision. Have you considered potentially charging a little more on the Facebook side to offset that?
Believe it or not, we started the Facebook side when we first started running ads at $1,000 with no onboarding fee. So we were technically losing money on the front end, and we slowly just raised it up and added that onboarding fee. We were probably about like a 1 to 0.8 ROAS, I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah. And we got it to 1 to 1.2 by just simply raising that onboarding fee the first month and not taking a single sales call unless they're willing to pay $2,000. And that's clearly in the type form. If you can't afford marketing for $3,000 in the type form, you get kicked out of the funnel.
Yeah, makes sense. Do you have anybody that's dialing on those people? I mean, your sales team didn't sound robust.
We don't. That's sales are constrained right now.
You know how the blue collar guys are. I mean, rather more so than just blue collar people. Anybody who goes through applications.
Yeah.
A lot of people who lie.
Yeah.
And those financial qualifiers specifically.
Big issue. And then
Fazio?
Of course.
Okay, so Daniel, another one of our $1 million a month Jeremy Inner Circle members, he specifically, when he got up and did his talk, he had talked about the correlation. Do you remember that by chance? And he had said in his application specifically when he ran it through AI, so he took everybody that closed, and he took all the applications, and he ran it through Claude, and he did some simple prompting that just said, analyze patterns here. Like, tell me the people who answered questions a specific way that closed, like what did they actually answer with? Then he also was able to export data from his CRM that represented when people showed up. And he correlated some really interesting points, which simply put, all came down to people lie in the application for their financial qualifier way more than he ever considered. There was actually a lot of revenue that came from people who answered his qualifier wrong. Yeah,
these people get pissed when you ask them their revenue. They get fucking pissed.
Well, they get, this is, it's a good old boys, dude. I mean, they're not very transparent about these things. Like, imagine them sitting here with us right now talking about their numbers like this. It'd just be abnormal for them. So anyway, moral of the story, beyond that, he also correlated that anybody that couldn't answer, did you remember his math problem that he asked?
No, but I know he said something about Gmails. People with Gmail accounts versus actual business domains, like, were way more likely to no-show your calls.
The people who, he had a question, because he specifically sells to agency owners in this application. And he talked about, the question was something along the lines of like, okay, you have a client that pays this much. You spend this much.
It's like simple math.
How much do you profit per deal if that's your math? And he said, literally with 100%, he said, anybody who answers that question wrong never buys. And that ended up being the actual qualifier that he used. So I always tell people this, technically financial qualification, like I use it in my own applications. And we still dial on the people, to be fair, that will answer incorrectly and try to sell them usually something else. But at the end of the day, try to find the actual qualifier and consider optimizing around that. Because as soon as Fazio, in his specific example, realized that, obviously it would change what he would choose to send back to the algorithm for pixel conditioning. But in addition to that, it changes your selling system. It changes, like, rather than just having 3 sales guys dialing on the people who are qualified, you'll open up a lot more revenue for yourself. And you'll actually, if you think about it without even having to raise prices, likely increase the ROAS.
Yeah.
Because you're just closing more deals overall. Do you have a drop sell yet?
Do not have a drop sell yet. That's something we're working on.
Understood. Now, I know this. These people don't know this. You had recently just gotten an office here in South Florida.
Yes, sir.
And I don't know if you want to say a specific location or not.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're at Fort Lauderdale now. And at your physical location, you had talked about the idea of wanting to start doing some in-person stuff.
Yep.
Would this be an example of a drop sell? Would you consider that a cross sell in this example? Or?
Probably a cross sell in this example more than a drop sell, because we like to only make it our clients on Twitter. Like I have a cult-like following on Twitter pretty much.
Yeah.
And what we like to do is only really invite clients. So we threw an event in the past, only 25 to 30 of our clients came. Yeah. And what happened at that event is everyone on Twitter was like, oh shit, the Striker boys are running an event. Our funnel on Twitter started going crazy because everyone got FOMO who's in the home service space and was like, I want to work with those guys. They throw in-person events. We threw an awesome event like you do, like cool shit like that.
Yeah.
And it just started an uproar on Twitter, everyone talking about it, pictures being posted and whatnot.
Yeah.
And it just created a chain reaction of people booking calls with us to work with us, to get invited to our in-person events. And then we decided, oh shit, like this event was extreme success. Let's buy an office. And here we are.
So ads or Twitter are going to lead to, what's your funnel type that you picked?
Just a call funnel.
Got it.
Simple call funnel. We used to do an opt-in and have setters calling and whatnot, and it was hell. Tons of no-shows.
Especially with that niche.
Yes.
Call funnel application. And by the way, some people might be sitting here listening to me thinking that I'm almost like a hater of the blue collar niche. I'm not. I just have data. As Bodie sit here and listens to all this, you see, he's just in immediate agreement with the random things I'm throwing out. I'll give you another good one. Blue collar never watches confirmation page videos, ever. Play rates on VSLs, play rates on
They need to be 3 minutes. They literally need to be 3 minutes long.
If they even watch them on.
Yeah.
However, they fucking love emails for some reason.
So
they'll open emails at like 60+% open rates, and they'll consume the shit out of those. If you ever hear me say, you could send up to 6 emails a day to a specific niche if they're value-driven emails. Blue collar would be one of my favorite niches to actually use as an example there. But they do not ever consume videos for some reason.
And they think case studies are bullshit. Like testimonials are bullshit. They think they're absolutely bullshit.
At this point in the market, they've been fucked so many times.
Yeah, but something that's cool that you'll like, we A/B test is like some ads have my face on it, some ads have Andy's face on it, my business partner.
Yep.
And his ads go to a VSL, where my ads go about like my dumpster rental story, selling my business and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And like we see mine performing better because these guys do not watch VSLs. So like they relate to my story and whatnot. And it's just like a simple bullshit slide deck on ClickFunnels. And like
I was gonna say, you've used the DSL yet?
Of course.
Dude, the deck sales letter is
it's a deck sales letter. And it's just like a picture of me in front of a dumpster, like a garbage truck. And like he sold his dumpster business to private equity. Now he's doing marketing, like a bullshit story.
Yeah.
And then in the email flows, pre-call is like interviews I've been on talking about selling my dumpster business, doing marketing and stuff like that. And the blue collar guys really relate to it. That's why we can sell to them on cold traffic pretty good.
Yeah, it makes sense. The DSL, the deck sales letter, by the way, we have an entire video breakdown of it on this channel. There was a guy in Australia who actually tried to claim it as a strategy that he originated. So as soon as that came out, we dropped the entire strategy here on the channel as the originators of that specific approach. And long story short, there's been a lot of guys out there who have used it successfully. Cole Gordon, as an example, picked it up and started using it. He always gives us shout outs and credits, to be clear. We're not talking about Cole when we talk about the random Australian guy. Anyway, moral of the story. So ads or Twitter lead to a call funnel. It's an application. They then get scheduled. A call actually occurs.
Yep.
Super interesting question for you. Are you using Zoom or just doing phone calls because of that?
Google Meets.
They use Google Meets, but
they use Google Meets.
They fucking hate Zoom.
And they hate Zoom. I won't even bother with Zoom.
All their heart.
Strictly Google Meets. And if people want Zoom, they're usually higher level, but I'm like, dude, my business is getting you ranked on Google. Like, we're using Google Meets, bro. We live through Google. And they love hearing that in the sales process, saying some bullshit like that. But strictly Google Meets. And then SendBlue has been a game changer for us.
You have a lot of tech issues with that? We hear that so often.
Not bad because we don't have a huge sales team.
Got it.
And SendBlue, it's really easy for us, like day prior, to just cancel out bullshit calls with fake revenue guys the day before.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, so 3.2K upfront, and that's the Google Maps ranking service. How soon, what's the timeline here of when you're trying to upsell them on something like a website or Google Ads?
So there's a book by Michael Matherson that Daniel Fazio told us about. I can't think the name of it, but it's all about upselling the person as much as possible, like extrapolating as much LTV out of them. Yeah, okay. The first month, we have 3 calls with every single new client. Onboarding call, 14-day call, 31-day call.
Smart.
And a designated Slack channel. In the onboarding calls, like, this is what we got to do, connect your CRM, blah, 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 all that BS, track your leads. In the 14-day call, we come to them with a slide deck. And we're like, hey, We do offer Google Maps. We also offer these other different things like website design, Google Ads. We actually own a finance company, a small bookkeeping company. So we come to them on the 14-day call and we're like, hey, it's been great working with you for 14 days. We also offer these services. Are you happy with your current vendors? And then we upsell them on the back end, whatever service we offer or provide.
What's the take rate on that?
Off the top of my head, I do not have an answer.
Understood. So day 14 is essentially the upsell introduction, or more so like that's where you're actually trying to convert somebody?
Introduction. Converting usually happens either right away or a couple months down the line because they're like, I just signed up with a Google Ads guy a month ago. I'm gonna give them a try for 3 months and then we could talk. And usually the 3-month mark is when they really start buying things.
Okay, so three months into this, essentially when the upsell actually occurs.
Yeah, but if the onboarding, if onboarding is seamless, they go into a buying frenzy and they just start buying everything from us. So we've seen that happen too.
Does that essentially indicate that it's an average of a 3-month timeline before the Google Maps actually start ranking and like they're really dominant there?
Yeah, and people who work with us for 8 months usually work with us for 2 years plus.
Simple question for you here, buddy. Have you ever considered peppering in something else that might get a result for them sooner than 3 months?
I'm working on that right now. There's something called Google LSA. This is probably different to you because it's only for home service businesses.
Okay.
We're looking to start offering Google LSA as a service, like $1,000, have it all automated with AI and whatnot.
Yep.
That's what we're working on right now, but I just need to find a Stallion for my Google Ads department because we have a constraint there too.
Understood. Do you maybe want to use the channel? I mean, there's a ton of marketers here if you want to put out the word for what you want.
Yeah, if you're looking to run a Google Ads department, we do about like 100K a month right now in Google Ads. Definitely hit us up, striker-digital.com, or hit me up on Twitter. My name's iRentDumpsters. We are looking for a Stallion. We will pay you good, and we're looking to grow it.
Nice. You heard it here.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, biggest thing here, honestly, out of what I'm seeing so far is that's way too long. It's almost like you're running a low ticket to high ticket ascension funnel here with 3.2K that immediately goes down to 2K a month that follows. Yeah, you have your churn numbers by chance?
Yeah, churn numbers, really good, about like 5.6%.
Is that annualized?
That's month to month.
Okay, understood. So churn, not bad. You said 5 point what?
5.16, give or take last month.
Okay, so 5.16% churn. And that makes sense. Again, in that niche.
Q4 though, it's usually around like 8%, 9%.
Seasonality?
Yeah, seasonality. We usually get killed Q4, but we also like NRR goes up, net retention revenue goes up there because we sell a lot of like 1-year deals Q4 with people who trust us already.
Understood. Makes sense. Now, from an advertising perspective, in order to offset that risk, because you have control over where you get the opportunity to target, are you trying to isolate more of your ads in the Sun Belt? Or are you specifically allowing just broad U.S. targeting? Right?
Broad U.S. targeting, give or take, because if someone comes to us on the call from, let's say, Massachusetts, and they're an HVAC air conditioning repair company, they're like, hey, I'm looking to make this investment for April. Like the good business owners have a long-term mindset, and they're like, I'll pay for this in November because I know in April it's going to work for us. Where like the guys who aren't that great at business are booking right now. And they're way more skeptical because they've been burned 100 times because they give people 2 weeks and 3 weeks and shit.
Nice. A question for you. Dealing with a niche that simply put kind of has shitty business owners in it at such a high rate, like realistically, I know this is going to be a guess for you to be fair. It's technically a made up stat, but he's about to say. On perspective of 0 to 100%, 100% meaning 100% of them, all of them, 0% meaning literally none of them. How many of the people you deal with would you articulate as a good business owner? Like somebody that has that long-term mindset and those kind of characteristics. Not in disrespect.
Depends the revenue level, probably like 30%.
Okay, so that means that 70% of the people that you're exposed to in your niche have problems with how they run and operate their businesses that then can fuck you.
Yeah, but the guys doing $2 million plus, I'd say are around like 60 to 70% good business owners.
Yeah.
The guys doing under $2 million, 80% of them are bad business owners.
And at this 3.2K price point, I mean, you're obviously exposed to the entirety of the market. And I wouldn't doubt at all that you're going to close everybody across the board, no matter who comes to you. And there's obviously a smaller percentage of the total business owners in that niche that are above the 2.
Yeah.
Out of your total client base, percentage-wise, how many you think are above 2?
We're going upstream. We're going upstream now. I'd say about 50% are above 2 now.
Okay, good. Out of the total client base or just new clients?
Out of total client base. Out of new clients,
so I mean
70%.
In your specific scenario, out of the current deals that you've got now, you can look at your current decisions, by the way, just on a total side note. And you could see that it's a wise thing, by the way, to do what you're doing, where you're starting to contract the total opportunities that are available to you to just the best of them in comparison to the worst of them. Out of new deals, you're claiming 70% plus or just 2 million, 2 million and plus. That means you're going to deal with a better type of client. Your life's going to be better. Your quality of everything's going to be better.
LTV's better.
Everything's going to be better. However, you're going to lose a large chunk of the market.
I know.
And that large chunk of the market, I just have a simple question for you. do you have any willingness to tolerate that person with systems that are set up for them? As an example, anybody that is below 100K a month, we don't allow into Jeremy's inner circle.
Yep.
They have so many more problems that relate to them and their mental state than they could possibly consider. And that's a huge reason they're below that specific revenue threshold. They know it to a degree, but they don't necessarily do the things that we need them to do.
Yep.
And it's a completely different system
Yep.
to get that type of person the results that they need. So we put them into a completely different product instead.
Yep.
We still will sell to that person, but we have to put them through a system that removes them as the problem. And so we have to build an entire product around them.
Yep.
Have you considered such a thing?
We have thought about doing it, but it has to be off a different brand. Like, we're trying to brand Striker Digital as like upper echelon, good brand. We take care of your business. Like, we will hold your hand, blah, blah, blah. We need to lower like different brands, like
Reputation risk.
call it Shark
Digital.
Digital or some bullshit, you know?
Makes sense.
And because reputation risk, like, these guys are animals.
No, I understand.
These home service guys are animals. Like,
Yeah.
they'll go on your Facebook, they'll find your
I
wife's
totally get it, yeah.
Facebook, they'll fucking go crazy.
Yeah, I get it.
And we need to have a separate brand differentiated if we're going to do that, because they are animals.
Makes sense. And do you view that risk for the revenue as worth it? Or is this more of like a side thing for you right now?
Yeah.
You think it detract from your momentum?
If we were to do it, it'd be like hire a Stallion, tell a Stallion what we want to do, figure the systems out, like do like a little go high level AI bullshit website, create like a sales system for these guys and just go figure it out, is how I think about it. Like, I wouldn't even want to put my mind share to it.
At your level of revenue, one thing I really want you to start considering is
Yeah.
entrepreneurs.
Yep. No, really
We're
all about this. Yep.
The people that right now, really think about this, okay? If somebody sits there and does 100K a month
Yep.
in the home service niche right now,
Yep.
you as a dominant player in that space are likely the preferred vendor for somebody, as you say now, you're seeing the uptick in your statistics that is on the higher end of that spectrum of, you know, in your words, 2 million plus a year.
Yep.
The people on the lower end of the spectrum are simply working with people that are soon to be entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
They are fed up with that type of client that you're talking about. They know that that's who they're actively working with. And when I say they're fed up, they just don't like dealing with the 360 of it all. They don't like dealing with the sales, the marketing, the fulfillment, the nag of the clients, you know, the relationship management, if you want to call it that. And this type of person is very, very persuadable to say, look, I can pay you close to what you're making now, if not more than that, depending on what level we scale this thing up to together. And this becomes your person, if not your people, if you have a few of these types of guys, because they work great in numbers too.
Yep.
You need to consider a low-level acquisition at this point on a few of these guys with creative buyouts, nothing that would require a lump sum by any means.
Yep.
More so just like a high amount of cash flow that's going to go to these guys, but nothing too crazy.
Yep.
That way you have the exposure to that demographic, to your point, under a completely different brand with a completely different face. That way you remove the reputation risk. And I want to tell you what, somebody who comes along with these PE guys,
Yep.
you being bought out eventually at that 10 mil EBITDA number that you have
Yep.
is highly probable with the current path that you're on now. Imagine how much bigger the multiple would be if you didn't just do the low-level person with one entrepreneur,
Yep.
but you had like 3 of them that you, to the market, unknowingly control and are actually delivering through. But on the front end, it appears that there's these guys that are running these, you know, isolated agencies that you actually own, that you're actually like the brand of without them having any awareness of that. And these people operate with your systems, your back end, your awareness, your knowledge, your staff, your systems, you know, your ability and your skill, simply put, your talent. But on the front end, there'd be no awareness of that at all.
Yeah.
I would really consider that if I were you.
We have been looking into that, so that's a great gold nugget right there.
I would do it more than once.
Yeah.
I'd do it like 3 to maybe even upwards of 5 times, because then those PE guys, when they come in, first of all, that's a sophisticated approach.
Yeah.
They do the same thing all the time to give the illusion of choice in a market, when in reality they control, let's say, 80% of a local market.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, they view it as a roll-up, which typically gets priced higher than the multiple you'd get if it was just your business that they're rolling up into something else. That makes sense?
Yep, makes perfect sense.
I think a great play to maximize the exit value you'd get.
And the PE guys will were like capital allocators, and we have that background. They love that shit, those guys.
Yeah, all right, makes a lot of sense. The long of the short is, as you advertise, have you started to see how many people you're getting that don't technically meet your criteria that would sell into something like that? You're going to
Yes.
say we're going to refer you over to these guys.
Don't hire a marketing agency. I will teach you how to run Facebook ads, like the Australian kid.
Yeah.
Same exact offer, and he does extremely well. Buying like equity share in his company would make sense, or some type of rev share deal would make sense, where like we could just send all of our downsell people right to him to learn how to run Facebook ads himself. Because his all offer is like, if you're under $1 million in revenue, don't hire an agency. I will teach you how to run simple marketing systems.
Yeah.
And then his ascension offer is to upsell people into working with us. We just don't have a downsell thing right now to send people to him.
Has anybody told you to just get very aggressive with what I'm sitting here saying yet?
Yeah.
And have you actioned that?
No. Aggressive as in a downsell offer?
I feel like as I sit here and listen to you continue to explain your situation and circumstances, that the most revenue exists right now in what you're doing, of course.
Yep.
But it feels like it's really close to the current amount of revenue you're producing that you're just simply saying no to.
I agree.
And due to the level you're at and what level you're trying to get to, when you get to a couple $1,000,000 a month, it becomes, listen to this, okay? This is very important to understand. To get to $1 million a month, usually it's a very isolated, there's one funnel type, there's one main offer. Rarely actually is it the chunk method, which means that there's multiple funnel types, there's multiple offers that get you there. Usually it's just a ton of momentum in one thing.
It's all brute force to get there.
To get to a couple $1,000,000 a month, like the $3 to $5 million a month, I'll give you a perfect example. Were you here at this most recent mastermind for Q2?
Yeah, the $5 million a month guys?
Correct.
That's the best speech I've ever heard.
You watched, you remember the specific slide they had? That had like, I felt like it was 3 dozen different things on it at all stages of this specific customer cycle. And the customer cycles weren't even just their customer, it was like the growth of what their customer, whether they bought from them or not already, could be going through. And they had offers. It felt like literally they had 30 plus offers.
And they're like, no one speaks to us until they pay us $60,000 in LTV or something.
And this is important to understand. To get to a couple $1,000,000 a month, like you witnessed with those guys who got the $5 million a month trophy, generally it's the opposite as what it took to get to $1 million a month. Generally, it is the chunk method that gets to a couple $1,000,000 a month, and it becomes far more rare to see one thing, like one offer and one funnel type get you to $5 million plus a month. So as I sit here and I listen to you, it sounds like you haven't actually recognized that yet, or if you do understand it in knowledge and
we haven't taken aggressive action.
Exactly, you haven't actioned it yet. And that's why I bring up the entrepreneurs. I don't know if you recognize this or not. You had slipped in there, oh, none of my attention can go towards any of that. You know, all my attention needs to go to wherever you're currently prioritizing and justifying it. However, remember, when you get to a couple $1,000,000 a month, it's generally like you had already talked about, because you manage to get great people that you put butt in seat to be an entrepreneur with something that does have like a high couple $100,000 a month in revenue potential. Even what you just said, like you're going to build an entire couple $100,000 a month business for somebody because you don't own them. And you're going to lose a tremendous amount of that revenue and only get kickbacks, which those guys that are going to come and buy out your business are going to criticize. And they're going to say, well, this is actually, they're going to nitpick at it. And they're going to tell you it's actually a weakness and something that they would have preferred to have ownership over. Right. And so before you actually flood a lot of power to a specific person in that type of deal structure, it makes more sense to try to use the leverage of the fact that they're near zero to own them first and entrepreneur their role and then flow power to them by comparison. And whether you want to put time and attention to that or not right now, I'm telling you now, to hit this couple $1,000,000 a month you're after and have true control and add exit value to what you're doing, that should be something that you view as absolutely worth it. You should stop trying to use this self-talk of justifying differently. Does that make sense?
100%.
I just want to challenge you on that because I've seen it play out so well.
No, it makes sense. We have so many people in our HubSpot that like could just be dialed and sold a $400 a month product.
I'm going to give you another quick example there. So in Jeremy's Inner Circle, not selling to people below 100K a month. There's actually a guy in the Inner Circle who exclusively sells to people below 100K a month. And he says that the goal of pretty much every person that's in his program is to buy Jeremy's Inner Circle and to eventually qualify for that. And before that guy started that specific offer, I became aware of it because he was ideating with me on it, and I didn't do what I just told you.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, this person now sits with arguably a mid couple $100,000 a month in revenue that I don't see a dollar from. And the pipeline of what that person's buyer, their goal is to buy one of my programs. And I could have, again, entrepreneured that role and just expanded beyond the trust limits that I had prior to that point and said, dude, why don't we just take a little gamble here together? I'll flow everybody that says no on the application to $100K a month straight to you. You'll brand yourself underneath however you want it. I could, again, like I said, have him branded as though it's his. But then from there, I could flow all kinds of systems, structures, and talent and help him out and reduce all his costs and give him a facility to run from. And I'd make him more profitable. And again, it'd give me a cut of that overall revenue, but I didn't do that. And so again, I end up in a situation where, listen to this, do I have the leverage now that the mid couple $100,000 a month exists like I would have if it was at the very beginning of the whole ordeal?
No.
Absolutely not. So again, be very careful. There was another example is one of our, I think I could talk about this openly, so I'm just going to use the name. One of our consulting clients, his name's TJR. Are you familiar with this guy?
Of course.
Young 20-something-year-old kid, teaches trading. And he specifically had a guy, I forget the guy's name, but he was going to do a live stream with this guy over a 30-day duration of time. And this is a big deal for Tyler, TJR. He had never done a long live stream like this. He wanted to try it out and see what happened. And he specifically had this character that he wanted to have in the live stream. This was not a nobody, to be clear, but a guy that was like good at content, but not well known at all yet. And TJR knew if he gets this kid on this 30-day live stream and helps this guy become profitable, that naturally there'd be a ton of attention that flows to this guy. That guy'd have the opportunity to come out with who knows what, coaching businesses, info products, whatever. And instead of just saying, okay, I'm going to give you this platform, before he even does that, he says, I want to make sure that I have a good chunk of ownership over this specific person and a good chunk of rev share. And then that made him feel all the more confident when he actually started the 30-day live stream in really flowing power to the person because he had a financial incentive to do so. So don't make that mistake. And remember, to do a couple $1,000,000 a month, it's usually the exact opposite. Because you said 700 off of just Twitter when you were first getting to the $1 million a month. Again, it's an inverse set of actions.
That's what I'm going through right now. Like even with the sales team right now, it's like we're doing inverse set of actions. And like in May, we didn't have that great of a sales month because we're changing a lot of stuff to get ready to really scale the sales team.
Yep, makes sense. Okay, another set of questions for you here in terms of your marketing. So Twitter is now 50%. And ads are now the other 50% with only 50K in ad spend. I'm sure that that's actually going to become a dominant channel for you soon enough. And Twitter will actually become a minority as a result. You're still just running your call funnel from your paid ads, correct?
Yep, we run a call funnel from my face and Andy's face.
Understood. And I want to be really clear. These blue collar guys, although technically similar businesses pretty much across the board, they all view themselves like regionally different than each other. And as a result of that, sometimes the blanket marketing hits a ceiling sooner than later because you tap out of the market that's willing to respond to more generalized things. And you reach a point in the market where you need to actually regionally market to these specific guys. As an example of that, my actual first client ever, his name's Lee Haynes. Are you familiar with Lee?
Roofer, right?
Correct. Yeah. So Lee runs a $50 million a year roofing business across the United States. And he also runs an info business helping roofers specifically. And again, we can broadly market across the United States and just say like, hey, learn how to do insurance claims and like learn how to help with X damage. But dude, the guys that are in a little pocket regionally around, let's say the Southeast United States, they would never respond to something like hurricane damage. However, they respond to things that have their specific roof tile types. And they respond extremely well to their geographic natural disasters that occur that impact roofs in that area. And we get, no exaggeration, a multiple that's close to 7x greater return when we do regional marketing for the ones where we notice there's like a hotbed of objections that come from the fact that they don't feel like we understand their market. So when we market from the perspective of understanding their market, the response is tremendously better. When you start getting into advertising now that you're historically organic, and I don't know if you can tell this yet, buddy. No, it's a huge transition of like identity and character that transitions you up to that next level. Is this a part of your thinking?
Yeah, so we actually do that. So I'll call out like it's Google Map ads. So you see Google Maps behind you. We have like these stars that show your ranking and whatnot.
The
And
big
it's like,
circle.
Yep. It's like if you're a pest control company doing $1 to $3 million a year, we helped this pest control company scale from $2 to $5 million a year from these maps you see right here. And that is literally the ad. Simple ad, talking head, does way better than any professional ad you could ever imagine, because you talk to your ICP, you tell them what you do, where you do it and whatnot, and it rips.
So you've niched down to the home service type.
Yeah. And we'll have all different ad variations to the home service type. We have testimonials from the home service type. So if I'm talking pest control, we have 2 testimonials from pest control companies, case studies from pest control companies and stuff like that.
Got it. And to be clear, when I say regionally, you wouldn't add on top of that as an example, hey, if you're a pest control company inside of Georgia.
We're going to try it in Fort Lauderdale now. So it's like, if you're a home service business owner in Fort Lauderdale, we are one of the biggest local SEO agencies in America, but our headquarters are in Fort Lauderdale, like something like that in the ad positioning.
Yeah.
And we're going to start doing an in-person sales process and just trying to get Fort Lauderdale, because our TAM is huge. I can probably have 50 businesses in Fort Lauderdale alone.
Makes sense. The one thing I'm trying to make clear to you in simpler words is these examples of like nice, hyper localized, targeting and creative and funnel types become,
they're huge right now.
Moats.
Yeah.
Okay. The additional effort that we can expense when we're willing to expense it always outcompetes everybody else that has broader, like less specific to their market messaging, because like I said, they're more probable to respond to it in different areas. Anyway, the other thing that I'd ask, do you have anything on the business development side? Like, is there any outreach happening that's manual here towards more of an ideal demographic?
Not really. That's another thing we got to
consider that.
Yeah, you're talking about outbound, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, not yet. We have considered that, but not yet. Like we need to build out the sales team right now. It's literally our biggest constraint is sales, and then doing outbound sales and stuff like that.
Now,
and I think our low ticket offer we were talking about earlier would be great for the outbound side of things.
Question for you. At your level of revenue, how much are you and Andy setting aside each month for gambling?
Probably have like 1.2 million aside for gambling.
And in the most recent 30 days, what amount of cash did you actually gamble, and what did you gamble it on?
$75,000 probably on Facebook ads. $50,000 on Facebook ads. Other $25,000 is building out this content studio. I guess you consider that gambling, but we're building out this content studio. Yeah.
How much?
About 25,000.
Okay.
And I mean, that office was a pretty big gamble. It was 2.75 million.
How much cash did that take?
Put $750,000 down, about $100,000 in all the other renovations, office supplies and whatnot. So that's $850.
You only had to put $100K into reno?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's not bad. Okay. And did that take a lot of that cash away that you were talking about? You said like 1.something mil. Obviously the down payment on the office and the renovations would have consumed a lot of that.
Yep.
How much gambling budget's left as an example for this next 30 days?
We could probably gamble actually like $300,000 next 30 days.
Okay. So 300K is still free.
Yep.
Okay. Question for you. So when you look at all this, content studio is more of a long-term play, I imagine. The 50K Facebook ads, likely the shortest term play that you got here. The office and the renovations, I'll tell you personally from doing it myself, we put about 800K in cash just in renovations on this place to get it to be how you're sitting here looking at it now.
Yep.
And it's been great, but it'll be great in ways that are somewhat indirect at first.
Yep.
Like I noticed before anything else, a difference in my staff culture.
Same.
The productivity of the team went up exponentially. The output of each person seemed to get way better than it was before, just having people in an office role. And then in addition to that, like the rapport of everybody, we all just felt like tighter knit group in comparison to what we did when we were all remote, and allowed me to also hire more people than I was hiring prior, which was also an interesting side effect. So in the short term, it felt like it actually cost me more money besides the productivity lifts that I saw in staff. The tangible dollars that we generated from it for us specifically come back in what we do with our masterminds for Jeremy's Inner Circle. Just giving us a place where we could have more people than we had prior, which quite literally allowed us to just sell to more people than we were previously, which was great. That's where our actual
It's the environment that's good too. It's like I go home at night and like I'm not, like I used to just work from my home.
Yeah.
And like, I would just always be working from like the minute I wake up to go to sleep. And now I get so much shit done between like 8 to 6 p.m.
Yeah.
I go home and it's like, I'll read a book now, you know, I'm not fucking going crazy.
Nice, smart. Where do you think your dollars are going to come from in your version of a return from the office investment?
Consulting.
So that means doing something in person?
Doing in-person events and upselling an offer from those in-person events, kind of like your inner circle.
Yeah.
Similar to that.
Understood. So out of your current stack then, with the #1 on Google Maps for 3.2K a month upfront and then 2K after.
Yep.
The 2 to 4K for a website or 2K a month for Google ads. Where are you going to pepper in the, like, when are you going to do this, with the consulting or with your in-person?
So we're planning to do an in-person event, 20, 30-person event of only clients. And then the clients that do come, just throwing an event on like how to run Facebook ads yourself, Facebook groups, all different things, constraints in your business. These guys don't have a sales process. They don't have a sales script, how to run a sales script, how to build a sales script, all stuff like that. Yeah. At the end of the event, let's say 4 p.m., we'll have an upsell offer where we will say, hey, we're running like Bodie's Inner Circle, Striker's Inner Circle, we'll call it the boardroom, something like that. And we will upsell them consulting for, let's say, $35,000 a year. And we will just go into your business and look at the constraints of your business, how we could help it. Because what we've realized in our last event is our marketing agency is so similar to these home service guys running like HVAC companies and roofing companies. We're just selling a service like they are. And the problems they're going through, we've gone through already, just we have an online business.
Okay. What are you going to charge for that?
About $35K a year, probably.
And that's going to be for the upsell.
Yeah.
What are you going to charge just to come?
Just to come to the event, $1,000.
Understood. And that's going to be what you charge the clients. Are you going to do that same thing for non-clients and charge a higher amount?
We're looking to not have non-clients yet until we really like buff out our client list. We're looking to do this with cold traffic too. We're looking to do this all different ways. But we're first going to start with our clients, upsell our clients. They'll be our warmest leads. If someone's flying from Washington to meet us in Fort Lauderdale, they're more than likely to buy our consulting offer if they can afford it.
Are you familiar with the concept in sales and marketing called the front door? You ever heard of that?
Front door offer? Like
just this
getting them through the door.
This concept of the front door is essentially, in order to enter into your world right now, I just want to clarify, the only way that somebody can enter into your world and technically become a client is 3.2K up front for the Google Maps offer.
Yes, sir.
With no other entry point.
Not really.
And do you view that as a flaw?
Talking to you right now, I do, yeah.
Why? Do you feel like I'm leading you to that, or is it just like obvious to you?
It's pretty obvious to me. On the other end, it's like, I'm very accessible and I shouldn't be as accessible. So that $5 million a month speech they had, and they were like, no one's talked to us. We don't have a personal brand until they've paid us $60,000. I was like, holy shit. Like, I answer the phone for motherfuckers paying me like $1,000 a month still, $1,500 a month. And I'm like, I cannot be as accessible, because if I'm least accessible, I could charge more dollars to get me accessible.
By the way, for everybody wondering, if you're in the Jeremy's Inner Circle group, you can go to the Mastermind Talks library. It's the Q2 2026 Mastermind. It was Decentralized Masters is the name of the specific guys that got that $5 million a month trophy. Long story short, you can go inside of there to that vault and you can watch that specific talk if you haven't done so already. It was so good.
Baller speech.
Okay, so moral of the story, back to my point. The gambling logic that I asked you, and then the concept of the front door. So your house right now, you literally just have one entry point and that's it.
Yep.
And that entry point is 3.2K. And it's specifically if I want to rank high on Google Maps. The back end currently is just a website and or running Google ads. It sounds like there's a lot of other ideas that you have that simply put haven't actually come to fruition yet.
Yep.
And those things, are they going to just be back end offers based on how you're articulating yourself?
No, what I'm thinking is adding a second door for a low tier offer, and it being something simple like, we'll build you a website, a review generation system that automates your review process, and then responds to your reviews or something like that. Like a simple $300 to $400 offer that you can just copy and paste for anyone. But I need to make a different brand.
I'm gonna tell you something else here, okay? Totally separate track of thinking real quick. It'll all come together here shortly. With a PE company coming in and buying you out, what do you think they do with you once they buy you out? Like, why do you think they buy you out in the first place?
They see value in your business and you as a person.
Ultimately, they understand the #1 thing in life that actually makes you feel rich.
Yeah.
Cash flow.
Yep.
Okay? If you get a lump sum and that lump sum hits your account, you'll realize that your expenses, you obviously still have costs to live and survive, and those don't just drop overnight. You will immediately, there's a guy in the Inner Circle, his name's Matthew. I don't know if you talked to Matthew or not. Now that you're in the $1 million a month chat.
Oh, it's the boy. Yeah.
So now that you're in the $1 million a month chat, one of the things that if I were you, I'd ask in there, since you're working towards a lump sum, Matthew's generated 4 different lump sums.
Yep.
Okay. He currently sits with, and since you said his last name, I won't say the exact amount, but he has a good amount of money that's after taxes just sitting in the S&P.
Yep.
He just recently sold his 4th agency. Okay. And he's still right now, like in the most recent 2 weeks of talking with him, says he's just feeling like the pressure of costs. And he's like, I have a $50,000 a month like nut right now that I have to expense. He's like, I just need to get cash flow going again. And even with, high tens of millions of dollars, like net, just sitting there, he still doesn't feel like he's rich.
Yeah.
Because he's taken all that and invested it. And if you live off the 4% rule as an example, it's not a lot of money.
No,
it's not. And he needs so much more money. But simply put, what actually makes him feel good is cash flow.
Yeah.
Okay. So PE companies come back in. Let me tie some points together for you. The PE companies come in, they buy your business, first of all, because they want the cash flow more than anything else. That's how, and then to be fair, they're also trying to add into it so they can get a larger multiple on the lump sum when they go to sell it to somebody else. Generally, what they do as a strategy is they'll buy you as a piece of a larger puzzle.
Yep.
Okay. And they'll say, I can add this guy who does this to this larger system that I have. And this larger system is then what allows me to exit for more money.
Yep.
Okay. One thing that happens on your journey to trying to get, this is your first exit, correct?
Yep. Second.
Okay. So on the journey, correct, because your dumpster business you were talking about. On the journey to getting to this point of the second exit, you have to learn why they're trying to buy you out.
Yep.
And what you could do in the meantime before you're bought out that emulates what they do, because what they do is really smart. They add a tremendous amount of organizational value that they get to tack onto their multiple when they exit. And on top of that, they add to their cash flow in real time.
Yep.
You have one front door, okay? Yep. So to tile this together for you, you have one way that people can currently transact with you on the front. You have all these ideas and things that you could do on the back end to add to additional revenue, which are gonna be necessary to help you chunk up to a couple $1,000,000 a month, that simply put, are being actioned too slow.
Yep.
Okay? They're being actioned way too slow. And you have a business owner right now. I don't know Andy's take on this, to be fair, but I sit here and I listen to you talk about this, and I just think you're missing the drive, it seems like.
Yep.
And the awareness around what's obvious to do next.
Yep.
What's obvious to do next is to add more than one way to people, to give people the opportunity to transact on the front end.
Yep.
You're also, if you don't notice, by the way, saying that the opportunity for your second front door should be lower than the 3.2 that you're already using now.
Yep.
And if you're going to use paid advertising to acquire people, you are going to lower your profitability of acquiring a customer in the first 30 days, which makes it easier or harder to scale. Then you're just fronting cash.
Yeah, harder, right?
So exactly. Yeah. So if I'm lowering the overall upfront return that I'm generating, I'm making it harder for myself to go out there and just simply put, reinvest back into scaling. If I was a true, not on ROAS, but on ROI, a true one-to-one, and I could put all the money back in my pocket in the first month and then have 95% or 94% in some change based on his churn, continue with me the next month at 2K a month, I'd do that every single fucking month possible. But remember, you got to this price point you're at, and you're probably just right now at 3.2K. Break even on the front end with ROI. You're a little bit above that on ROAS. Why not add something that costs a little bit more money? Or why not add something that's right around the same amount of money as the second door or the third front door to get into the business, instead of castrating yourself right off the bat? And just going lower.
That makes so much fucking sense.
I don't know why your default thinking is.
No, it makes so much sense. Because lower, I feel like I have a huge TAM there. But no, what you're saying.
Are you thinking lower more in the context of back end?
Yeah.
And then does that,
I'm thinking lower isn't like
leak into the front end?
Someone can't afford my 3.2K. Because I sell to brokes, as you know. Someone can't afford my 3.2K, so they just get downsold to a lower $400 a month offer or something like that. That's why
it's such a substantial difference. I mean, it's no exaggeration. If you sold only at $400 from a paid ad, I don't think that you'd. First of all, I mean,
as literally just a downsell offer, not even a front end offer.
I totally get it, but either way, you're going to be so net negative on that for months in a row. The reputational risk of a $400 a month person is insanely different, as you're aware. So when we watched that talk from the $5 million a month talk, since it seems like that's really had an impact on you, in any of the thinking that they sat there and articulated, where did you pick up that there should be that substantial of it? Like, why are you fucking yourself?
I don't know.
It doesn't make any sense. I'd really like to find why that's happening in your brain and why you're willing to just, without any math being considered, just make up a number that fucks you so hard right off the bat and wastes the decision-making time that could go towards a more rational, obvious thing. Maybe add like a simple layer to your thinking when you are coming up with front doors. Okay? Front doors should be based on math and based on profitability more so than almost anything else. It should always be based on, do we want to break even in the first 30 days and then profit after that? Do we want to profit in the first 30 days? What do the numbers actually need to be? And the number, by the way, will then reveal to you what offer might make sense to plug into. The entrepreneur logic that we talked about, those can be incredible cross-sells to people that you're already paying to get to come through your application that are going to maximize the current ROAS that you have and act as a hidden front door to a different building, even though it's the same building.
That makes way more sense.
In addition to that, your back end right now, the only thing that you're technically saying is just ideas of things that also cost what sounds like
money,
$1,000 up front. Or at most, it sounds like a lower amount than the $2K a month that you're charging now based on people that you're going to just refer deals to instead. And all of this, instead of, the only thing I've heard you say that costs money, $35,000 a year, is an upsell to the existing clients. Which is a great idea, by the way. You should for sure do that. Where is the front end offer?
I'm thinking our front end offer would be an SEO sprint, which is what our first offer was ever. Daniel Fauser used to do this too, like a cold email front end offer. I think we charged like $5,000 or whatever. Well, we used to charge like a $7,500 SEO sprint, pay us for 3 months of SEO, Google Maps SEO up front. And then we would try to downsell them down the line for like a $2,000 a month package. But our front door there would be pay us $7,500, work with us for 3 months, and then you'll either continue with us or you'll churn out depending on how you like working with our company.
I want you to also leave here. I want you to ask yourself a really simple question. Okay, if you happen to watch this later, or your business partner Andy happens to watch this later, I want you to try to find the 2 moments where for some reason your thinking defaults to 3-month timelines after you sell somebody something to get them a result and outcome.
I think I know the answer.
That's a long time.
I think I know the answer. My offer is just, it takes 3 months to get results. And I always default to 3 months because in local SEO, it's like you can't push Google to rank you #1 right away. You can't like run Facebook ads and have a retention loop within 1 to 2 days. Or
you're thinking with that. Okay, so
that's why I'm thinking with the 3-month time period.
Break down the step by step with me real quick so you can really understand, because it's very important. The initial constraint. It's a concept. Have you ever heard me talk about Parkinson's law?
No.
Okay, I learned this from an Elon Musk video. He was talking about his team of how long it takes him to build a rocket. And they were specifically building Falcon 9, like the big one. And he came to his team like before the rocket existed. And this was mathematicians, physicists, engineers, and rocket scientists. And he said, all right, y'all, I want to build this rocket. Tell me how long it's going to take. And they all went off and they started doing a fuckload of math and science and physics and like quantifying it all together. And they came back to Big Daddy Elon and they said, it's going to take a decade. And Elon said, you guys can go fuck yourself. It's going to take 6 months. And then these guys whined like crazy is what he said. He's like all of them threw a fit. And they were like, Elon, like you're arguing with math and like the laws of physics. And like there's materials that don't exist that we have to like literally create. Like there's, and they just started bitching about all these constraints that they theorized was going to happen over the decade. And he said, I don't care. Like the most important part you have to consider before any thinking follows is the constraint of time, because the constraint of time is what then unlocks the ideas that follow to accomplish it in that constraint of time. He said, listen, I'd literally rather fire all of you and cycle through all of you many times over a decade before I ever let it take a decade. I just want you guys to try, commit to the 6-month window and just report back to me and tell me what you guys think. And so they did. They set aside their whininess and they all said, okay, if this actually was going to take 6 months, like what would we do differently? And naturally, it unlocked a completely different set of ideas for them that they hadn't had coming to them prior because they weren't thinking with that constraint prior, okay? How long do you think it took them, by the way, to come up with that rocket, like fully ready to go and launch?
4 months.
It took 8 months.
8 months? Okay.
So that's way better than a decade. Right? So moral of the story is, for some reason, in your brain, the first thing, just like a mathematician, a physicist, an engineer, and a rocket scientist, the most important variable isn't considered for some reason. You just default to your standard 90-day window. I would encourage a complete reframe because as an example, the way I think and why I get shocked when I hear this from you, I think the exact opposite. You sit here with me in my group. You pay me a couple $1,000 a month to be a part of this.
Yep.
Imagine if I thought in 90 days.
Yeah.
Would you keep paying me every month?
No.
You'd churn out because I don't give a fuck about your results every 30 days.
Yep.
In comparison, really think about how everything I do with you is structured comparatively.
Yep.
It's like, I care deeply about you getting results and outcomes every 30 days.
Yep.
I care deeply about you having aha moments every 30 days because you pay me every 30 days.
Yep.
And with the constraint in mind, that is what unlocks why I do what I do in my fulfillment in order to get you outcomes in that time frame.
Yep.
You have people paying you every 30 days in the new offer that you just ideated on where you were like, oh, I could do this SEO thing.
Yep.
Or, oh, I do the Google Maps thing. And like all these time frames for some reason are 3 months. And you're not wrong in what you're saying. Just like technically the mathematicians, physicists, like they weren't wrong.
Yep.
Their math wasn't flawed. They just did their math based on a decade. And that unlocked the creative ideas for a decade, right? So I just asked you a simple question based on time constraint. If you had to come up with an idea, and it doesn't have to be now, of course. And you go back home and you sit there with Andy and you say, what can we do as a front door that instead of a 3-month timeline only takes a 30-day timeline or only takes 2 weeks? I know with certainty that you boys know what could get somebody a result faster.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, that is what then gives you the ability for people to trust you over a broader duration of time to get them a result and outcome.
Yep.
Because as much as you understand this niche, the one thing that I think you're forgetting is these people don't tolerate you for fucking 90 days.
Yeah.
What they do is they judge you extremely quickly and they determine whether they have trust in you or not in that first 30 days. If the result timeline takes 90, they also have seasonality to their businesses, so they need more results sooner. And by the way, the sooner that you get these people results, the higher the probability is that they'll start referring people to you in comparison to having to wait 90 days for that. Your entire business would speed up and be dramatically faster.
Yeah.
If you manage to think in shorter time windows. You understand that?
Oh, yeah.
So when you come up with the next front door, okay, try to add a time constraint to what you're going to do. So you ideate on it a little differently.
Yeah.
And then also, now that you've got your office, treat your office. Have you ever hired a staff member that's more of like a support staff member? But then after you've hired that support staff member, you're like, all right, now I got this random role in my business. I could probably sell other services that relate to something. I've hired graphic designers for, as an example, way back in the day when we needed those. And I remember thinking, okay, now that I got this payroll position, I should sell more things that incorporate my graphic designer because I have that payroll position in my business. And if I do that for every random payroll position in my business, eventually I'm selling a bunch of time and effort-based services that just aren't the most revenue-driven things I could have sold because I'm thinking with my most recent asset I've got, a payroll position. You're doing that right now at your office with all these ideas that you're coming up with too, of an in-person consult, the in-person event, the in-person event only for clients, you know, the $35,000 boardroom offer. Remember that as a constraint as well as you go through this ideation process. Don't just limit yourself to the in-person office. Try to consider what's the most sensible front-end offer. I'm going to give you a great example of something that was a very non-traditional thing for us, was Jeremy AI. Jeremy AI, when I first came out with it, it was only $300 a month. Then we upped it to $1,000 a month, and we get incredible results with it. By the way, we see not a crazy upsell rate yet, to be fair, but we see a much higher upsell rate, by the way, from Jeremy AI selling them on the things that they're upselling into.
That's cool.
And so people are paying us to get a tremendous amount of value from the offer itself by talking to Jeremy AI. But in addition to that, Jeremy AI can recognize in real time in their journey when something else might make more sense to them that they simply don't have access to now, that Jeremy AI can talk to them about. But at the end of the day, like a video might make more sense for them to go through, or an upcoming event might make more sense for them to go through. You and your current journey, I wonder, simply put, over that 90 days that you're putting people through now, if there's opportunities to upsell people far sooner than you are now on average. And maybe you just don't know that because you're doing a day 1 call, an onboarding call, a day 14 call, and a day 31 call. Do you do anything else over the following 60 days that follow?
Designated Slack channels. We have calls month to month.
Blue collar, I mean, do they even use Slack like you'd want
Yes,
to?
surprisingly, yes.
At a high rate?
At a high rate.
Nice.
Yeah, surprisrisingly, yes.
They shock the shit out of me with the things. They love Google Meet and they love Slack, huh?
They love Slack because we pitch them Slack as in like, it's like texting us, just an app on your phone. And they're like, oh, that's great.
Makes sense. So over the following 60 days, you don't do calls with them?
We do calls once a month. I don't do calls. My client success managers do.
Yeah. And those are the only opportunities then, just once a month to check in on them and see if there's an opportunity.
Yeah,
to upsell.
once a month to check on them. We come with a report on those calls, and then we have an end of the month report. It's like a more deliverables report. We did this for you this month. Blah blah blah.
And is that where you're then intentionally upselling again, or you just leave that for reporting exclusively?
Upsells are on the month-to-month calls.
Makes sense. You understand what I'm saying in the sense that there's likely shorter timelines than what
Definitely.
you're currently anticipating in 3 months to upsell people.
Yep.
It might already be an opportunity to shorten that.
Yeah.
Just by having higher amounts of touch points or some kind of signal.
Yep.
There's 2 ways to get that signal. They self-report it to you and say, hey, we've got this great outcome. You can obviously see the outcome as well. And a CSM, through having a relationship with those folks, can say, hey, this person's at this point in the journey. It makes sense to upsell them into something else.
Yep.
Dude, this is insane. Okay, back to the gambling logic, because I want to tie all this together for you and wrap this up. I feel like your gambling is very inefficient right now.
We're very conservative.
I feel like there's a lot more you could gamble on in comparison to what you're gambling on now. I feel like your current gambles are, to your word, conservative. I feel like out of that entire amount, the office is going to pay long term. The Facebook ads are the shortest term. Content studio is a good longer term gamble for sure. But you have to have things that are shorter term that you gamble on as well.
Yeah.
That you're not risking cash on currently.
Yeah.
That as an example to me would come
Like buying a small agency.
I was going to say entrepreneur role. I think you need to really focus on acquisition, getting people that are butt in seat that just own a specific division of the business. Because let's be honest, buddy, the things that we've talked about here that you've said, I wouldn't put any attention to that yourself.
Yep.
It make perfect sense for somebody else to put attention into.
Yeah.
I think you just need to put your attention on the entrepreneur. Your development of these folks that are below that 2 million a month threshold and having somebody who's willing to tolerate them or a team of people that are willing to tolerate them.
Yeah.
And you just have the insulation of teaching these people how to think, what to do. I think that makes so much sense.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Not exaggerated.
Yep.
I think that could realistically double what you're currently doing now and still limit your exposure to that lower tier client of you having to tolerate them yourself and putting somebody else as an insulation between you and them, but you get to capture the revenue of it.
Yep.
That's what Tan and Saleem did as an example, where you're sitting there watching that $5 million a month talk.
Yeah.
Those guys just insulated themselves. Like you said, they don't even get anybody that talks to them until it's 60K LTV.
Yep.
What's your version of that going to be?
Probably that Ascension offer to consulting. Because right now I'm like, from that speech, I'm just like, I'm way too accessible. Like I'm answering the phone for people who pay us $1,500 a month, you know? And it's like, I'm probably leaving so much money on the table from not upselling people into consulting anyway.
Consulting will bury you eventually, though.
It will bury you eventually. That's my only problem with it. But some sort of high-end consulting offer, I agree, it will bury you eventually.
If you were the PE company that acquired you,
They probably actually wouldn't want me.
You bought yourself out.
Yeah.
And you asked yourself, as the PE company's perspective, what the most obvious services to add would be. What would they be?
Facebook ads.
And why had that come out of your mouth?
I don't know, actually. I've been thinking about it.
You hadn't covered yet.
Yeah, Facebook ads. Why isn't it coming out of my mouth? Because there's a lot of great Facebook ad offers, and it's like getting a home service guy to get on camera is a shit show, you know? And Facebook ads with Andromeda, it's like these guys need to be on camera, need to have highly edited videos.
I'm going to treat you like the smart guy you are. You have the self-awareness on what I just talked about with constraints. Yep. Everything you're naming right now is a constraint. Why are you thinking with those constraints when you know those things lead to a high probability of failure in the deal, right? Change the constraint. So as an example, you say, okay, Facebook ads is technically a good idea, right?
Yeah, because you get the retention loop immediately.
And then you named all the weaknesses that would lower the odds the deal's successful.
Yep.
So therefore, those things aren't how you'd actually execute the deal.
Yep. Those
things are the weaknesses that you would strengthen or change completely or remove being a weakness in order to have success in the deal.
Yep.
So go through them one by one. As an example, if you did Facebook ads,
if I did
then said the first thing was, okay, these guys suck on camera.
Yep.
What would you do if they didn't film?
Hire UGC people.
Okay, and in an age of UGC, AI UGC, that's like, again, if you just specifically think about it intentionally for a second instead of just like going over it all fast, how easy is that to solve?
Pretty easy.
And outside of video ads, could you get away with doing image ads in some of these local markets as well?
Yes.
Okay, name the next constraint.
Sales process. But
Okay,
I know
now
there's
be very specific. What does that actually mean?
So Facebook ads, people do form fills for pressure washing, let's say, and then the person doesn't have to call them.
From a friction versus intent. Have you ever seen my friction versus intent presentation? No. Okay, I'll draw it for you real quick. So when it comes to friction, I actually draw it vertically. This being the highest friction, and this being low friction. Okay, and then I draw this other thing over here where I say this maps This maps to intention, okay? So the higher the friction, usually the higher the intent of the lead. The lower the friction, the lower the intention of the lead, okay? So as an example of that, what is the lowest friction, lowest intent lead that we can generate out of all the possible strategies available to us on Facebook ads?
Call funnel?
No.
Oh.
Lead forms.
Lead forms, yeah, lead forms.
So if I sat there and I had a pre-populated form that's in the actual platform, they're sitting there scrolling through that. When I say pre-populates, it fills out their information. Or to be fair, you can put the higher intent option on the lead form where they have to manually fill it out. You ever doubt on those types of leads?
Yeah.
What do they say when you call them? First of all, did they even answer?
Yeah, who are you?
And if they do answer, they're like, I didn't fill that shit out. Like, what are you even talking about?
No, I know.
And this could be like a speed to lead thing factored in too.
Yeah.
Right? It's
It
a
would
low
be a whole
friction.
entire selling system, speed to lead thing, have an overseas team in Egypt calling the leads right away when they go into lead form. It's a whole entire system that needs to be built. It's not just running Facebook ads. It's running Facebook ads with lead forms, using Higgsfield with a picture of someone for UGC video. I have it all mapped out.
Well, but think about this. I'm just asking this simple question of why are you picking the lowest intent, the lowest friction strategy as the mechanism that you'd sell them through Facebook ads? Just because it's the easiest? As an example, like call funnels, I'd actually consider like middle of the spectrum versus as an example, like webinars, especially a live webinar is higher than that. Low ticket to high ticket is higher than that. Challenge funnels would be higher than that. And again, when you consider like and you mapped every possible strategy that's available to us, I'd consider lead magnets maybe like a step above a lead form in terms of friction versus intent. And then if you layer on top of this, the strengths and weaknesses of the sales team, it also becomes obvious which funnel makes the most sense to use and which ones don't make the most sense to use. Then consider your demographic of what they're actually probable to do, what they're not probable to do. The answer should be screamingly obvious after a bit, okay? These guys, what are they used to in terms of leads that come to them? You're saying that they invest into you regularly at over $1 million a month, getting inbound phone calls from people who are like, hey, super enthusiastic to call you guys. I have a problem and you have the solution. That's the type of lead they're used to getting. If you did a lead form, can you imagine how pissed they'd be?
No, they'd be pissed.
To talk to that type of lead.
You need a setter. You need a place to set her into their business, or
And think about that. Like then all of a sudden you're managing a sales team on behalf of X amount of clients that you're see, doesn't that sound like a shit? Right? So you need a system you can plug them into that still generates the types of leads that they're used to and they want. Right? Have you put intentional thought into this before?
A little bit. I know someone else running something similar.
How much revenue do you think's on the other side of solving this specific problem we're sitting talking about?
At least $1 million a month in revenue.
And when you talk about wanting to hit $3 million a month or $5 million a month, and you also talk about working from 8 to 6 a day and then being able to go home and read a book, why not go home and put some intentional thought into these kinds of things so you can unlock that next $1 million a month more easily? Right? Because the alternative to somebody who wants a result sooner than later, over instead of 3 months being I want a result within 30 days, is there's a system here. There's a system here somewhere that is going to be screamingly obvious when you put the intentional thought into it and put it into practice and then start testing it and seeing if you can get results or not. My bet is, again, back to the entrepreneur logic and your current position and your lack of gambling. I would encourage that you find somebody that's realistically already doing that somewhat well, but kind of sucks ass at generating additional deal flow for themselves or has like fulfillment-based issues because of their inability to think beyond themselves. You know, I'm telling you, there's an entrepreneur role that likely already cracked this.
I agree.
That would enable you to scan for it. Where and when are you going to events that are more like industry events for your niche?
Starting that whole journey now. Like I got to go one in Phoenix next month. I got to go one in Dallas.
And I'm not talking about just the people who are like your type of client, more so the
agency events,
marketers.
M&A events. We're just starting that journey because from us, like we came from an internet money. Like you go to your events, go to Daniel Fazio's events, shit like that forever. Hormozy's events, and now we're starting to go to like actual events like that. It's just a whole different type of person, you know. Like it's a bunch of suits, and it's a whole different type of ball game going on those events. They look at us like we're outcasts, and like we have a bigger business than you. You know, it's interesting going there.
Out of everything we've talked about, where do you think the most leverage exists currently? Like, what are you going to leave here and put your attention on straight away before everything else?
Gambling more.
And what specifically are you going to choose to gamble on?
Buying a small Facebook ads agency and investing into an entrepreneur and scaling him up, scaling that within our brand.
I think it makes so much sense.
Me too.
Makes so much sense. In addition to that, I would encourage that you focus on the collapse of your average sales cycle.
Yep.
The delivery cycle specifically.
Yep.
That 3-month duration
It's too long.
is way too long. It should collapse. And by the way, same thing with all the logic that you applied to the other services that you're articulating that you're going to upsell, cross-sell, or downsell,
Yep.
or add as a front door. Always think with a constraint. And then in addition to that, just the fact that the extra effort on some of these initiatives you've got going on can act as a great moat.
Yep.
I wouldn't neglect that as a point that we sat here and discussed. I think that that's an incredible thing to do, to action when you go back home, is to sit there and analyze your current advertising efforts and say, how can we hyper localize this to these different markets, because other people wouldn't be willing to exhaust that amount of effort on it.
Yep.
Does all this make sense to you?
Oh yeah.
How much revenue do you think exists on the other side of what we sat here and talked about today?
Monthly or AR? Let's say like 5 million monthly, easily. And that's in like a 18-month time frame.
Yeah, there's so much that you can do here.
Yeah. No, I know. We have so much to do. I have the personal brand behind it.
What's preventing you from doing this? Why haven't you done these
People.
obvious things? What do you mean?
People, just like managing people. Like the business grew from, I think 3 years ago, we were doing like 200K a year, and we did 3 million, 8 million, but I do like 14 to 15 million this year. Toughest part now is just hiring the right people, getting the right people in place.
That's what's preventing the action? Or is it managing the people that are already a part of it?
That's what's preventing the action. It's like getting the right people in place in order to get ready to scale for something.
So you have the wrong people in the team currently that are taking too much time from you and managing them, is what you're implying?
We're good now. We just didn't have enough people at the time. Like we screwed up about 2 months ago in our busy season, as in we didn't have enough people on our back end to fulfill our front end because sales were going fucking nuts. Now we are good. We solved that constraint. Our next constraint to solve is building out a legitimate sales team where we could have 5, 10 guys closing at once instead of 3 to 5.
A few different times throughout this conversation, you mentioned making yourself too available. Do you do that to your staff as well?
Not anymore.
How much involvement do you still have in all the clients that you currently work with?
Barely any, unless they're paying us $7K
You have a
a
lot of
month.
time in your day then?
Yes. Now I have a lot of time in my day. That's a pretty new thing. Like I have a whole new identity. Who I was 3 months ago versus who I am today in business is completely different. 3 months ago, I was way more hands-on than I am now. So I'm trying to find my new identity within the business to help it scale.
Use that time wisely. There's pockets as we move in business, where you have more time versus we're just spread thin.
Yep.
And when you've successfully reclaimed a lot of your time and now you're in that window where you've got this, just remember the number one thing.
Yep.
It has to go towards the highest dollar value per hour action.
Yep.
Out of everything we've discussed, what's going to be the order of action?
Order of action. I mean, my first main order of action right now is building a personal brand onto YouTube. I know we didn't really discuss that, but I'm really looking to start leaning into that. And then looking for an entrepreneur for our Google Ads, Facebook Ads department.
I would love if you rewatch this video.
Yep.
That way you see it from a third person view.
I can't wait.
Now that you're sitting here in the first person with me. And I want you specifically as you look at this, and to just remember at the very end of all of what we just discussed, you said that the things that you want to go home and do as the number one action is something that's realistically going to take you less than 2 to 4 hours a week, which is YouTube.
Yep.
And you followed that up with the search for an entrepreneur.
Yep.
And I want you to remember the neglect on the handful of extremely revenue-driven, shorter-term things that you didn't action in your list.
Yep. And
I want you to consider the reprioritization of what should go onto that list. And I want you to turn all of the what into a step-by-step of like, this is what I'm going to do in order, and this is how I'm going to do it. I want you to turn the what into the how.
Yep.
And you'll follow up with me after this to help you turn all this into a how. Please feel free to do so.
Sweet.
But there is a lot of stuff here.
Oh yeah. No, I know.
Is a good couple $1,000,000 a month in revenue realistically. That has to get action sooner than later, because some of them are longer cycles, but a lot of what we talked about are short-term revenue cycles that you can actualize on, and you didn't discuss those things. Very interesting. Okay, excited to see what you do with all this, and
Awesome.
more importantly than anything else, I'm really excited to see you grow in revenue.
You man.
Bodie, by the way, he inspired me. I had asked him prior to all of this. His goal was hitting $3 million a month. Right now in Jeremy's Inner Circle, we have $1 million a month trophy, and then we have a $5 million a month trophy. I think it's time to get a $3 million a month trophy going. I'm going to talk to my trophy guy, and I'm going to see if I can get something that's in between that looks cool, but isn't as cool as the $5 million a month trophy. I had one other person request that. They felt like 5 million was too far from $1 million. Yeah. I reminded them, I had said, to get to $1 million a month, realistically, you started at like 200, 300 grand a month.
Yeah.
Like you made the same 5x jump to get to $1 million a month.
Interesting.
When you were at a low couple $100 grand to get to
It just
$1 million.
feels like a different business now,
It does.
I'm at
but the thing
1.3 a
is,
month.
Still just a 5x.
Yeah.
It's a much larger sum of money.
Yeah.
But
Still it's a
as you can
5x.
technically see, like you have more leverage than you've ever had before. Like the game is totally different on the other side of the fence of $1 million a month.
Oh, yeah.
Growing the business from there. And for some reason, everybody consistently says, I want to do the 3 million a month as my next target point.
Interesting.
So I think I'm gonna get a trophy for it, but I really want to eradicate that thinking somehow. So I'm gonna work on that on my end. All right, you have anything you want to close out with for the people here?
Thank you for having me on. This was awesome.
Of course, man. Yeah, thank you for being with us. And we'll all keep rooting on Bodie and Andy here with Striker Digital. And
Yes, sir.
we'll keep up on your progress. And per usual, you guys go check out some of these other videos here on the channel. All we do is talk about $1 million months. We don't make any income claims. There's no earning potential. These are all just lessons that we hand down from people who have been there, done that. So you can see what it takes to do it too and increase your odds. But again, no income claims, no earning potential. Just the odds are low.
Yes, sir.
All right, go subscribe. Talk soon.